Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Airguns. My name is Rick Utzler here, and it is a wild and woolly Tuesday night here in West Texas. We have got a tropical storm coming in, and guess what? It looks like we may be getting some serious amounts of rain, so please keep us in prayer. The desert's great when we get a sprinkle here and there, but when we start talking about multiple inches, things can get a little bit dicey out here. So we're in for a couple interesting days. I'm sure we'll be fine, but your prayers will be welcome for sure. Today, I don't know how long we'll be running tonight. I'm actually running off my cell phone to do this broadcast because we lost our main internet and we lost power. So we haven't even had any rain yet. This is just, we've had a lot of wind and we're running off our backup generator here at the ranch. So we'll see how long we go tonight. And there are a few things I want to chat about. Primarily, I want to talk about old school airgunning, guys. I just posted a video. Hopefully, you guys got a chance to take a look at that on the Gamo Hunter Extreme Pro. This thing is awesome. I'll go ahead and pull it up so you guys can take a look at it. This is a gun that I've known was out there for a while, and I don't know if they had. Like, I had to wait to get one, I guess was the point. So I didn't know if it was like an inventory thing or what it was. But this is the Hunter Extreme Pro for you guys that have been around for a long time. The Gamo Hunter Extreme was like in that, it was like a full page in Cabela's book. And as I was just getting into airgun some 15, 16 years ago, excuse me, the Hunter Extreme was like, whew, it was the gun I had to have. And I eventually did get a 177, 22, and 25 Hunter Extreme, which I have the complete set. It's sitting in storage right now, so I'm looking forward to getting those back out and checking them out. So I've got to go actually back to Havasu and pick them up. Anyway, this is a throwback to that day of single shot, quality built steel and wood air guns, and I had an absolute ball shooting it, as you guys saw in the video if you watched it. Goodness, I did absolutely have a ball for sure just shooting this air gun. It was just everything I remembered about air gunning back then. It was right there. Yes, there's a challenge to it. I mean, there is a pretty good slap when that piston hits the front of the chamber. You need to have really good technique, and it'll reward you when you do well and punishes you when you don't. So from that perspective, I think it's just a wonderful training tool. Great power. I mean, not at 4,600 feet. We're still getting 26, 27 foot-pounds. So I would love to see what Angie could get with one of these down in her neck of the woods, down at sea level. I bet you we'd be pushing over 30 foot-pounds. That would just be awesome. I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about, the concept of old school air gunning. We've jumped ahead quite a bit. I mean, in the recent years, we've gone from brake barrels being the norm to now, entry-level PCPs being sort of what people jumped into first, which is great. In fact, I'm editing a video now. It's going to be going up on the GTA, which is a video for the Gamo Arrow, which is a $220 gun. I think PyramydAir's got some available. So if you guys are looking for that Gamo Arrow from like PyramydAir, they have them. I'm not sure. Let's check real quick and see if they have them here on, let's see. Yeah, okay, so we've got them in 2077, 22. Here we go. Looks like they're available. Let's see, add to cart. It looks like we're available here. It looks like, so you guys can, these guns are available. So they kind of represent what's been happening in the world today of air guns. People getting, the entry-level PCPs getting really good. The Gamo Arrow, I think, is an example of one that is extremely affordable. I got 60 shots easy out of mine without a huge, ridiculous curve. It is unbelievably quiet. I think Angie's got an Arrow. Angie, I think she's up here. Angie, let me know. I believe you said you might have gotten an Arrow. If that's cool, if that is true, let me know. So Bruce is asking me a question. Have I reviewed the 25 Magnum brake barrel? which do I like better, the 22 or 25 Magnum? Yes, I did do the 25. I have a video that'll be coming out on that here shortly as well. I'm trying to think, did I do that one? Yeah, actually, that's going to be edited by a friend of mine. I'm actually teaching somebody how to edit videos so that we can create more content specifically for Gateway to Airguns. My sister takes care of all of my AirgunWeb stuff. And I have a little thing on that here in a minute. But I shot the 25 cal Magnum GR, and I was getting 27, 28 foot-pounds here at 4,600 feet. So probably 30 plus foot-pounds easy with that gun. It really likes the polymags, Predator polymags in 25. I was shooting at like 25 yards, and those grouped like that. I had other things were not grouping as well, but the polymag shot really, really well. So I'm probably going to swap the scope out because I want to put a better scope on it, and then do some more shooting with that. It's still breaking in, just so you know. It is a traditional Springer. I'm thrilled that I have that gun. I know Angie had the 22 that I reviewed and then I sent to her, and we're actually, you know, we have a bunch of giveaways sort of stacked up, fixing to get ready for Gateway to Airguns. I've got some 0dB moderators. I've got multiple Airguns, including stuff from Gamo and Umrex. So we've got a bunch of giveaways, and I think we're going to be able to finally start rolling those out. As you guys know, I mean, this has been just a crazy year for me. So I'm just now sort of getting my feet under me with video production and other work, GTA work, as well as now these contests. So we have them. We're going to be getting that stuff out. But I mentioned that because I sent it to her. She did a tune in a tube. I think she liked the gun. I'm trying to remember if it was something that she was like super loved, or she said, all right, it's a break barrel and it shoots okay. Angie's more of a PCP gal, big bore PCP gal at that. So for her to do the break barrel videos for us, let's thank you, Angie, because I know it's not your cup of tea. But we appreciate you doing them for us nonetheless. So the 25 cal, personally, I liked better. I'm looking forward to getting through the break-in. I'm going to put a tune in the tube on it. I may actually tear it down and do a full tune, soup to nuts tune on it, including the spring itself, checking the piston seal. I may replace the piston seal with a high-performance piston seal. The cool thing I love about those brake barrels, specifically those spring guns, you can actually do stuff to them. I can take an old Springer that's sloppy and not great, and at least, let's say the barrel's good, but the action needs help. We can do things to that to make it shoot so much nicer and more consistent with easier, repeatable accuracy. You can just do a lot with a Springer that you can't do with a gas ram, and I like it. Personally, that's just part of the tinkering that I like to do. I'm not much to tinker with PCPs and stuff, but as far as going back to like that old school Springer, that I do enjoy doing. Okay, so let's see. We have some other questions here. Let's see. So Angie did get an arrow. I think, Angie, you're going to really like the arrow. I don't know if you got it in 177 or 22, but do let me know what you think of it. I think it's going to be a really great gun for so many shooters. It's not super powerful, but it does get good shot count. It's got enough power for taking out game in the backyard easily. And it's just a target shooting dream gun for like 25 to 35 yards. It is really, really nice. Let's see. Let's see. Anyone know anything? This is Timmy. Anything about the old Beeman 1783 Silver Bear break barrel? I've shot them, and I believe they're a SAG gun, Shanghai Airgun Group. I don't know a lot about them. I've taken them apart, that class of gun, before and tuned them, and they're not too bad. So, Angie's telling me she's been enjoying the brake barrels. I don't know, Angie. Maybe I think it's because if you shoot the brake barrels, you don't have to go to the gym. I'm pretty much I think that's it. Let's see. Timmy, I think you, by the way, Tim, I want you to let you know, I haven't forgotten about your email. I just haven't gotten around to getting back to you on it. I'm trying to figure out a way to get you sorted out without costing you a lot of money. So bear with me on that. I will email you. Um, let's see. Angie's shooting the Springfield Armory M1A. Okay. Is that the underlevel brake barrel, Angie, or one of the other ones? Tim, no, I'm not getting sick. It's allergies. So forgive me on that. My nose is itches and itchy. And we've got wind and rain. And in the desert, that's dust and all. Well, right now it's just a lot of wind. But it's a lot of dust and crap. And it tears me up. So it's like hay fever in the desert. So try and bear with me if you can. Um, let's see. I have to go to the gym to even out the left side. I'm guessing that's gym and not gum, Angie. I don't know what you're saying there, but hey, we'll go for that. Underlever. You know, Angie, I've actually got that gun. Um, I shot that. Angie will know this, and for the few of you guys that have been out here to see me, Angie, you know the back of my range building. So imagine where before we had it all closed in with the door, we had the roll-up door. And before we had the cover set up in front of the range building, I was doing a article for Airgun Depot. I think I did a definitive guide a couple years back on that gun. I think it's still sitting in my Connex. And I shot open sights from the back of my range to the back of the bank, which would have been about 120 yards, and was hitting the 6-inch steel plate with open sights with that gun. Pretty awesome air gun. So I hope you're having good luck with yours. Um, uh, Maria, I guess that's it, asked me a question here. Is it worth getting the Hatsan Carnivore 30 if some 22 Magnums are getting close to that power? It's a good question. I have a soft spot for the Carnivore 30, primarily because I had a part in that gun existing. Yeah, I think it's worth getting it. And I think if you were to shoot the Carnivore 30 next to one of the 22s or 25s, I think you'd see the benefit of the 30. That big, heavy slug, especially if you're hunting. If you're just target shooting, then no. But if you're hunting, even though it's slower, goodness, it's very stable, it's very accurate, even at range, and it just holds its energy better and is pretty awesome. When it hits game, it's devastating. So I would say, yeah. No, thank you, Angie. So she shot at 50 yards. We'll see how she did with it. Angie, man, if you're shooting your brake barrels at 50 yards, you're braver than I am. I'm pretty much top out at 25. If they do well there, I call it a day. They're showing me up here, so I may have to start shooting at 50 yards, I guess. If it does really good, then yeah, of course, it's worth it. But I let brake barrels live in their zone, and I think 25 yards is good. But man, if they start shooting good at 50, then I guess why not? One of the things I wanted to talk about, because I've had several comments come up off of the, off of the Gamo that Hunter Extreme Pro video, and that is dealing with scopes and what scopes can you use, what scopes work, what is it a scope will it trash scopes? I think that's a worthwhile topic to get into tonight. So first of all, if you're looking at anything with a wire reticle, so that's going to be your entry-level scopes. A lot of your Pinties, the scopes that you get on Amazon for 60, 70 bucks. If you look at the reticle, it's a wire reticle, and I guarantee you that these Magnum springers will absolutely trash the scope. They will not hold up. So the first thing you need to look for is something with an etched glass reticle. Ideally, you want something that's built for a Springer or a spring gas ram air gun that has that reverse recoil issue. At least they've addressed it in the construction of the scope. If you don't, then even if you get a etched glass reticle, but it's like a firearm scope that didn't take air guns into consideration, I don't care what you paid for it, you're going to trash it. So you can buy a Leopold, spend a couple $1,000s on it, put it on a $200 brake barrel, and it'll trash the scope. So, you want to make sure that whatever you're getting is going to really, really work for what you want to use it for. So, the first thing is an etched glass reticle. Now, I wanted to show you. Oh gosh, I am sorry. My nose is itching something crazy. Probably should have taken a Benadryl before we started. All right, I'm going to zip over here to Hawk's website. You guys know we're sponsored by Hawk Optics. I'm very familiar with their line of scopes. I'm less familiar with others. I know there's other scopes out there that work, but I'm familiar with these. I've shot these. I know they work and have worked for me regardless of the guns I put them on. So that's my level of familiarity. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys. So I want to zip over here to Hawk Optics. Let me get back over to some questions here real quick. Yeah, 22 is cheaper to shoot to me, for sure. Jeff, Angie has a bunch of hunting videos, and I'm actually trying to work some other options out for her, so I'm hopeful that we're going to get lots of hunting videos from her this season. Let's see. Guys, don't get mad at Angie. She did get some work shooting firearms, so I know you guys, I mean, I know she's going over to the dark side, so you gotta keep her on, on a short leash there. So don't let her get too happy over there shooting firearms, okay, guys? So we got to remind her she's an air gunner. I've not tried the 35 cal hybrid slugs yet. They would be worth doing. I got a couple guns those might be fun in. What's a good dropping kit for the TX200 you can get in the States? If he's still doing work, let me look his website up quickly here. Vortex Products. Oh, is he out of business? The Vortex, excuse me. Make sure I get the name. Okay, so Vortex Products. This guy makes kits. If you guys are into tuning, this is your guy. This is where I would get Diana, like 34s, 350s, 460 parts. He has a drop-in kit for the Air Arm TX200, Pro Sport, all of that stuff. So this is the guy you want to use. Look him up. So he needs some work on his website. Let's see if this works. There we go. Okay. Let me drop the link in here. There you go. So that's check him out. That's a place you want to look if you're looking to do some upgrades on springers and such. Give him look him up. He's going to be your guy. Let's see. The Dragonfly Mark II. I shot that gun. I don't know if you saw my video, Bruce, but that is a really fun air gun, and it's super easy to cock, or super easy to pump up. I mean, very accurate, really really nice gun. To me, it's what Benjamin created, like a synthetic version of Sheridan, and it's horrific. I actually got one in and refused to review it because it was a waste of time. I mean, that's how bad it was as far as I was concerned. The sights were so poor. I don't know what happens. And Gamo is a company that has done this as well, although in their most recent gun they sort of addressed the issue. Not in the way I wanted them to, but they at least addressed it. I'm nearly certain that there are some companies that make an air gun and nobody that shoots actually shoots the gun before it goes to production. Because when you pull a gun up and it's got open sights and that's your primary way of shooting it, and you look and the cheek piece has you where you can't see the sights and you've got to like be way back here, and I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what the heck? Wasn't there anybody in the office that picked the thing up and said, hey, we got to do something with this stock because we can't see the sights? Well, that was the problem I had with Benjamin's, whatever their remake of the Sheridan, the synthetic version they had. And Gamo did it with the Magnum, the Swarm Magnum, the Gen 2, and the Gen 3 is the Gen 3i, but the Gen 2, where they had the magazine that rotated and they had the sights on it and so forth. They had such a high cheek piece on the stock, you can't use the open sights. Well, the new Gen 3i, what they've done is they just took the sights off. They left the high cheek piece but took the sights off, which I guess is a solution. I would have preferred either an adjustable cheek piece, which they've done that in the past. I mean, that is something they've had before, so it's not like it would be a new thing. Or give us a lower cheek rest in the back where we could use the open sights. I think those guns with open sights are great. So they went backwards in my opinion, and I have told them that. That's not something I haven't been vocal with Gamo about. So anyway, let's get back to this over here. Let's go talk about some scopes here. All right, let's see if there's any other things here. I've not tried that moderator, Bruce. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Okay, so Britt Spence, I don't know. This looks like a question that somebody emailed me or posted in one of the comments, which is why I'm actually talking about this tonight, because it is an important topic. So we're talking about, if you're going to pick a scope, you want to pick one that has a you want to go Sport, Vantage. Okay, so we're going to go to the Vantage line. I don't want to go high-end scopes because we want to kind of go with something that's more affordable. You want an etched glass reticle. So anything that Hawk makes that has IR, which is an illuminated reticle, it's always an etched glass reticle. At least at the time of my understanding right now, that's the case. So if we zip down here, okay, so the regular Vantage, skip that. Vantage side focus, skip that. You want to get to the Vantage IR. Now, any of these scopes that have the IR is gonna hold up on your brake barrel. Okay. Now, the other thing, Kimmy, look, here's the thing. Come on out to the ranch. I'll show you how to shoot it, and then you can go home and it'll be all right, because I got plenty of Gamo guns that shoot just great for me. So you come on out, and I'll show you how to make them shoot for you. All right. Let's see here. So if we look at the Vantage IR, you want to look at the Vantage IR AO, which means adjustable objective. So you want an illuminated reticle. I always go with an adjustable objective and a mil-dot scope. So for about, I probably wouldn't do the 2-7. I would probably at least go to a 4-12. Let's see, 4-12 by 40 mil-dot. Oh, they don't. Oh, here it is. That's nuts. 3-9, 1240 AO. That's rimfire. So it looks like you got to go to a 4-12 by 50 mil-dot with a 1-inch tube in the IR. So this scope, that's a side focus. I want side focus. Now I need an AO, guys. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm clicking the right one. 4-12. There it is, right here. Okay, this is the right one. So this is like the scope, one of my favorite scopes that I would put on Magnum brake barrel. It's expensive. So if you're looking at like the $100, sub-$100 scopes on Amazon, this is almost 3 times the money. Okay, if you look at the $70 scopes, it is 3 times the money, and then some. So it's expensive in that thinking. However, if it holds up and doesn't get torn up by your gun, then it's probably worth the investment. So this has got the illuminated reticle, which I like because it's etched glass, and it's got the adjustable objective. You can go, so here's the reticle. So it's etched glass, illuminated, pretty cool. If you want to go to something a little bit nicer, you can go over to, let's see, we'll go to the Sport, and we want to go to the Air Max. Now, Air Max scopes are generally for PCPs, but I've used them quite a bit on brake barrels as well. So, but you do need to make sure that, and I think they're all, let's just check. I think they're all etched glass reticles. So let's take a 4-12 by 40 AO here. And let's just see. Yeah, so these are etched glass. These also hold up. So any of the Hawk etch glass reticles, those are going to hold up. This is $300. It's a higher class scope. If we go back to the Vantage IR line, yeah, I think the least expensive. Now these are street prices, so PyramydAir's, they're going to have. I mean, excuse me, these are MSRP. The price will be a little bit less when you buy from PyramydAir or Airgun Pro Shop or another vendor, so it'll be a little bit better. The 3 to 9 by 40. So this scope here is like the base level. I prefer something a little more magnification. Oh, I got to get the AO. Forgive me. Hold on. This one. All right, so $220 gets you 3 to 9 by 40 AO etch glass reticle. This will hold up on brake barrels. I've shot everything from the Hatsan 125, 135, so 135 Carnivore, all the Gamo guns, all of those guns I've run with these scopes, and they've held up for me. So, for what it's worth. Now, there is so Big Truckers Review Motorsports. They actually, there was a guy who made one. It was the Mac 35. It was awesome in the sense of the way it looked, but it did not do well in actual real life. But I may actually still have one of the prototype ones. It was pretty awesome. If you want to look something up that was a pretty cool gun, take a look at it. It was a pretty neat offering. Timmy, you didn't upset me about Gamo. Not at all, man. Don't worry about it. I just personally, I would love the opportunity to show you how to shoot one, um, so you could have a better experience with. That's all. Let's see. So Derek, I mean, I don't know where your numbers are coming from, because I guess it all depends on what people are looking to do. If I've got a $300 brake barrel that I'm pleased with and it's doing everything I want, and I put a $300 scope on it, um, I mean, I think that's pretty much par for the course. Um, if I have a $500 PCP and put a $300 scope, the same $300 scope on it, um, if to get a good scope, you're going to spend money. There's a baseline there. I mean, I guess you could put a $100 scope on a $500 PCP because it doesn't have the recoil and stuff. But I'm not quite sure where you're getting your numbers or where your level of experience with quality springers comes from. So I guess I don't know. Be interesting. I have some high dollar springers. I have a German made. It was the Walther, what they call the doggone thing, the LGV. I wish I had an LGU and I sold it, but the LGV was about an $800 spring gun, not gas ram, and that is the sweetest shooting Springer. Beats the R7, beats the R9, beats all of that stuff like a drum. It is such an exceptionally nice gun. Better, sorry, Air Arms. The shooting cycle of that Walther is nicer than the Air Arms TX200 and such too. So it was just incredibly over-engineered, and a absolutely beautiful air gun. And it's, I mean, gosh, it is absolutely gorgeous. Very expensive, and it shoots way better than a $100 gun. I'll tell you that. Yeah, it's. I know that you may be looking at something like that. It's going to be hard given just the physics of it to have something like that, um, for it to do what you want there, big truck. Paul, as far as the Diana, I don't even know who to reach out to at Diana to get any product anymore. I mean, I can from PyramydAir, I guess. I'm already got all of my review products in for the rest of the year, but maybe it's something I can look at. I want to get back to the scope thing because it's more than just the scopes. Um, so you've picked your scope. Now, the next thing is how do you mount it to your air gun? So um, the convention would be to get the biggest, heaviest, strongest mount you could get, and that would normally be like this one-piece mount. A lot of people use a one-piece mount. Um, I'm going to suggest you try a different approach, and here's why. The issue you have with the scope on a brake barrel is you have this mass connected to a rail, and the gun's moving violently, and you're trying to make this so it doesn't move, right? So if you've got your scope that's heavy and you've got a mount that's heavy, it doesn't matter how tight you make the mount, you've got more mass you're trying to hold. So you really want to go the other way. So if you have less mass, you have to use less grip to hold it on the gun. So rather than go with a big heavy one-piece mount, if you go with a two-piece mount configuration, specifically a two-piece match mount, and you can get sports match mounts too if you want. But if you get something like this, I have found that the Vantage IR line with these types of mounts, these heavy-duty match mounts, hawk scope, hawk mounts, I've found this combo to work really, really well. So if you're trying to scope these Magnum springers and you've just had no luck, first of all, if you've been buying wire reticle scopes, that's like the first problem. Quit. They're not going to hold up. If you've been using single piece heavy duty mounts, you're just adding more weight. So you might have more grip, but now you have more weight, so you haven't helped yourself. Rather, look at the other direction and go with a two-piece mount that is a heavy duty two-piece mount, and make sure that you're setting the stop pin at the rear. So I know that there's folks may think, well, that's obvious. There are people that just don't realize there's a pin supposed to be back there, and it'll actually it does deform the rail over time. It does bend up and stuff, but that's the kind of force that's being exerted on the gun and on the scope and on the rails and on the mounts and stuff. So get yourself a good set of mounts with a good stop pin, and make sure you crank them down good, and hopefully that gets you sorted out if you're trying to scope a Springer. Now, I am going to take, I know in my video I talked about for my use around the ranch and stuff, I have no intention of scoping the Hunter Extreme Pro, but for the sake of reviewing it, I will go ahead and put a Hawk Vantage IR and a two-piece set of mounts on that gun and do some shooting so I can see the kind of accuracy that I'm able to get, because my eyesight is terrible, and I mean, I'll be able to do better, hopefully, accuracy-wise with a scope than I will with open sights. But as far as running around the ranch and having it for cottontails and collared doves just within 25, 30 yards, I'm just going to run open sights because I just, that's the way I want to do it. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. All right, yeah, so that's fair enough. So Derek's saying I'm basing what I said off of what you said, that you wouldn't shoot past 25 yards when my CO2 guns shoot 25 yards. Okay, that's fine. I have a certain measure that I use. I have an expectation essentially of 2 MOA for PCPs, and we're talking generally speaking. We're not talking match guns or bench rest guns. We're just talking general off-the-shelf air guns. So I have an expectation of like a 2 MOA or sub 2 MOA groups out of PCPs. And really, I look for most PCPs to give me 50-yard accuracy. That's sort of my minimum take, unless it's something like the Arrow, which is just never going to have the legs to get out there. It's only 16 foot-pounds, so it's essentially a brake barrel that you want the cock, and it's got that energy. So it's the same energy as a brake barrel. I'm going to shoot it like one. When it comes to brake barrel guns, 25 yards is really where I see they live. They have a ton more power than your CO2 gun. So you get a lot more power than the CO2. And yeah, I mean, gosh, what a QB 78 Deluxe is about $100 plus or minus $10 where you buy it. That's a great gun for $100. But you know, as far as a brake barrel goes, it's beyond just the cost. It's the shooting experience of it. It's the power it delivers. It's the ease of all I got to do is have pellets and some arm strength, and I can go shooting. I don't need CO2. I don't need HPA. I can just go shoot it. See, to me, those were all values that are things that I value above sheer price and sheer distance and sheer performance. I take the whole thing into consideration for me personally. If you have a different standard, that's cool, man. No big deal. But for me, what I want to do is set people's expectations to the place where they're not, they know what they ought to be able to get. So if I have a brake barrel and it's doing well at 25 yards, I'm pleased with that. Now, say I take the AirArms TX200. That needs to do well at 50 yards. Why? Because it's $600-700. That's why. Same thing with like the HW97 or any of those guns that are, heirloom, competition grade. I'm going to want more for those, but just your generic. Same thing like if I have a Daystate Red Wolf, I want that to do well at 100 yards. I want to go beyond the 50 yards. So, I mean, you have to take things into perspective of the class of gun, what the price point is, the value that it brings to the table in the sense of the build quality, the material quality, longevity, just all around performance. It's more than just price point. It's more than just distance. There's a lot more, and to me, that goes into that evaluation than just those two things. People get hung up on price a lot, and it makes sense. If you've got $100 to spend, the CO2 gun's probably the right choice. If you've got $500 to spend, well, you have a lot more options. So I guess that's where I'm coming from on that stuff. Let's see. Let's see. What happened to all the 20 cal springers? Uh, yeah, those are gone. I was teasing PyramydAir. I said, gosh, just for fun, I wish they put a 20 cal barrel on the Dragonfly Mark II. I think that would be a neat gun for them to have available. I don't know if they'll do it or not, but it's kind of a neat idea. My opinion of the 20 cal is it's a total waste of time, and I know that's going to really get people up in arms. The 22s today, the ammo's far more readily available. You can talk ballistics differences and all, whatever. But the reality is 22s are pushing good velocity with good power. And to try and maintain an entire level of pellets and barrels and just this whole level of SKUs that are basically being gobbled up by 22 and 25 doesn't make any sense. That's just my 2 cents worth. But I know it's a great caliber and people love it. And I think it would be great to have like a throwback gun like PyramydAir did do a 20 cal Dragonfly Mark II would be very cool. But in reality, the 20 cal that's not making a comeback. So it's kind of cool, but with what you can get out of a 22 and 25 and 30 and 45 and 50 and all that other stuff these days, I don't see the 20 having any place in the market going forward. Let's see. Why Gamo would not give up the plastic breech block? Paul, maybe you can rephrase your question and I can try and answer that. Angie's asked me a question. Well, I talk about the difference between first and second focal plane. Okay, so first and second focal plane scopes. I like a second focal plane for bench rest shooting because the reticle stays the same size, and as you zoom in and out, that picture gets superimposed on the reticle, and the distance of the spacing changes depending on your magnification. So when I'm zoomed all the way out, the dots are a certain space. When I zoom all the way in, the dots are a different spacing. So I like that for bench rest shooting because when I zoom all the way into the target, I have a ton of aim points that I didn't have when I was zoomed all the way out. First focal plane is the reticle grows with the target, so it's fixed. The reticle is the same. The Mills dot spacing is the same regardless of the magnification. I love that for hunting. Now, some people have had a real problem with focusing on the reticle and the thinness of the reticle and a bunch of things, because you want it thin enough so that when you zoom all the way in and that reticle is growing with the picture, that you don't have 2x4s for your crosshairs. So that means it's thin. So if you're zoomed out, it actually shrinks down to a tiny little thing. You can't hardly see it. Um, I normally run 10 power and up, so I don't necessarily have that problem. But if you have like a 4 to 16 or something, at 4 power, the first focal plane, that reticle may be really small and very hard to see. Um, but you may need the field of view to get the shot that you want. So that could be a challenge. But in a hunting situation, I like first focal plane, because whatever I've doped my scope for. So if I know at 50 yards, I'm 2 mil holdover, or at say 50 yards, I'm dead on, and at 75, I'm 2, and at 100, I'm 3.5. No matter what magnification I'm on, that stays the same. So if I'm at 10 power at 50 yards, but I go to like 16 power at 100, I don't have to redo crap that was 3.5 at 10 power, but now it's it's 6. I don't have to do any of that. It's just the same. And when I'm hunting, and I'm hunting different distances, like prairie dog hunting, and I could be at 50 yards, I could be at 150 yards. I don't have to try and be limited to just lock my scope into 10 power and not have the option to zoom in or change the magnification. I don't want to be limited that way. I want to know that wherever I'm going, whatever I dope the scope for, I'm set. I don't even have to think about it. So that's why I like first focal plane for hunting. I like second focal plane when I'm just shooting targets. That's me personally. Hopefully that's helpful. And I've got videos where I've shown the difference in how how the reticle stays the same in second focal plane, but the picture gets bigger. So it's like small, and then it gets bigger. And then I've done, and then shown the first focal plane. Did I get that right? Second focal plane, yes. Second focal plane, the reticle stays the same. The picture changes, but the reticle stays the same. And first focal plane, the reticle grows and shrinks with the image, and the spacing stays fixed. Hopefully that's helpful. Um, Paul, are there any issues with the plastic breech block? I have had instances where it seems to wear out, specifically in the catch. If you open it up, there's a little wedge piece that goes back down and it grabs a bar. So there's a bar in there, and when you close the barrel, it goes click and then grabs the bar. That piece I've had seem to want to wear out. So I like, and I don't know if it's the piece wore out or the channel that it's in wore out, but personally, this is me just personally, I think that there's a Walmart class gun and then there's an enthusiast class gun. The Walmart guns, and there's been a lot of market research on this, the general Walmart big box consumer of that class of gun doesn't shoot like we as enthusiasts shoot. So I may go shoot 500 to 1,000 rounds a month. They may shoot 500 to 1,000 rounds for the life of the ownership of the gun. That's been their market research. That's what they have found to be the case. And so when they're dealing to have to get down to a price point, every 5 to 10 cents matters in production by the time it reaches the shelf. So if they can save a little bit on creating something that's perfectly sufficient, according to their market research, to 90 to 95% of the consumers that are going to buy it, that's what they're going to do. It's for us, the other 5 to 10% of the enthusiast market that have a problem with those parts wearing out, sheerly because of the sheer volume of number of shots we take. I think the steel breech is vastly better because it's less prone to wearing out from use. When you have a steel part and a steel breech on a steel pin, that seems to me that's going to work better than a steel pin, plastic part, plastic breech. I think that is not going to last as long. Now, with that said, the other thing people have people have talked a lot about, and I completely understand their position. Gamo doesn't sell parts to end users. They only sell it to licensed gunsmiths or people that are carrying liability insurance for the work they do on the guns they do, or the guns they work on. I completely understand that. Absolutely, completely. When you are the largest, when you sell more brake barrels in the U.S. than all the other brake barrel companies combined, you have a huge target of liability on you. And if I were them, I wouldn't sell parts to end users either. I would offer a service to repair guns at a very affordable price, which is exactly what they do. If you have a gun, and I've had this happen where the breech wore out, either it became it where it wouldn't lock up and stay locked up, or it would have horizontal movement because the spacing, something got off in that breech joint. Um, for a fixed amount of money, and I don't know what the exact amount is, but it's very affordable. You can ship them the gun. They will rebuild the gun and send it back to you, fully repaired with that problem solved. So they have a good warranty department, and they have a good bunch of guys that work on those guns to do those repairs. In warranty, they'll do it at no charge. Out of warranty, it's a flat fee, and they'll take care of it. I think that's very fair. If I were them, that's how I would do it. If you were if you're a smaller company and you don't mind throwing, just sending parts out and then dealing with all the people that call in and say, how do I put this part in? Which is another side of the equation, that there's administrative overhead that goes out with parts that they're just not set up to handle. And if if I were them, I wouldn't do it either. So I get it from a manufacturer slash retailer's perspective. As an end user, yeah, it'd be nice to get parts, but I also can, for a very affordable fee, send them the gun. They'll fix it and send it back to me. So then I don't even have to. There's no liability on my part of the spring flying out and poking me in the arm, or who knows what can happen as people taking these guns apart under pretty tremendous pressure. They don't have a spring compressor and all the other tools to do it. Um, yeah, I wouldn't want to give anybody encouragement to do that work. Uh, Not at all. So I'm on Gamo's side on that one. Let's see here. I don't know anything about change of ownership of Pyramid Air, but I haven't heard anything there. Yeah, Angie really struggled with the first focal plane scope. Don't know why, other than maybe the eyeball focus wasn't quite right for her or whatever. But she really struggles with it. Okay, let's see. Uh, I think Stan. I think I don't see that happening. What I do see is maybe they have their Coyote in 25 coming out. I know they had a 25 cal Coyote. Be curious if they got that back up and going again. That would be pretty cool. Um, the Steel Pro, or the G-Man, the Hunter Extreme Pro has a steel breech. Also, I will tell you that the new, and I just had to use a magnet on it to know for sure, but the new the Gamo Magnum GR25 also has a steel breech. So I was super pumped to see that. Paul's asking me, do I think 177 cal is following the 20 cal's downfall? I don't think so. I think 177 still has a strong foothold in place. There's tons of support. It's very affordable to shoot. There's tons of options in ammo, and it is the lowest hanging fruit for most people to just get that and have that for shooting in their backyard or whatever. I don't think 177 is going to go away. I just think, given what 22 caliber guns can do today, versus say back in the day when 22s really weren't pushing real hard and the 20 had an advantage. Today, I just don't see that as an advantage anymore. I'm not with what we're getting. Um, okay, Dom saying he wore a Gamo Varmint out in 5 months, over 5,000 rounds. Yeah, that's about where they're going to go out on you. They replace it for free. I mean, that is, if he, let me just say this. If a manufacturer has a warranty and you have a problem with the product, hold them to their warranty. Oh my God. Complaining about the fact that the gun broke, I understand. Okay. But if there's an avenue to get it fixed, compel the company to do what they have told you they're going to do. Make them cover that product. You might have to pay shipping. Okay. That's why save your box, save your shipping materials. That way, if you ever have to send it in, you got something to ship it in with. Okay, put it in the attic, put it in the garage, put it somewhere it's not going to get, put it in the closet behind your other stuff you never use. Just if a company has a warranty, compel them to stand behind the product. Oh my gosh, if you want the products to get better, then make them fix them. I just tell you, they'll get tired of fixing it. Will fix the problem instead of keeping the fixed guns. But if you just complain about it but never hold them accountable for it, then you're letting them get away with it. Don't let them get away with it. If there's a product that has a warranty and you're in that warranty time and it's failed, then you get on the phone, you get on the email, whatever it takes, and you make them fix it. You make them stand behind their product. So, and then I bet you enough people do it, they'll fix the product, or it's just you got to hold them accountable to make them do it. So that is my 2 cents on that thing. No, G-Man, I don't see them making a steel breech swarm rifle. No, I don't see that happening. Um, with that said, now I haven't put 5 or 10,000 rounds through a swarm, but I've had several of them, and I always pick them up to go shoot them again, and they seem to be doing fine. So my experience with the plastic breeches not doing well was like 6, 7 years ago. So I don't know what they're doing today, but maybe they've adjusted those issues. Because back then I was telling people if you have a problem, make them fix the gun. So um, I just that's if they have a warranty, they're going to stand behind it. If I buy it and it fails, I'm going to be on the phone. They're going to fix it. So let's see. Well, yeah, Timmy, if they go out of business, then there's nothing you can do, and that's just unfortunately that happens sometimes. And sometimes I'll give you an example. There was a company that approached me about I have an import export company that's set up to bring products in and then help companies establish a foothold in the U.S. market if that's what they want to do. And this company approached me. Funny enough, it was all of the guns that Cattleman then picked up, and I got several samples in. I spent a good bit of money getting several products in. I paid freight essentially, and then to get them from Turkey here, which is not cheap air freight. So I got it. I got it in. I started going with these guns and found that there were issues and said, look, these aren't going to work in the U.S. market. These are the things you got to fix. You got to change. You got to do stuff. Um, and next thing I know, they had found somebody else they wanted to work with, and I guess that's where Cattleman came into play because they actually have the very guns that were sent to me to sample and test were the ones that Cattleman wound up selling. Um, and the problems that I saw with the ones I had seemed to plague the Cattleman guns. Now, when I did the Cattleman gun for Airgun Expo, we had some leaking issues. We fixed them, and the gun shot fine after we fixed it. So I haven't picked that gun up in a while, so I don't know what it's doing. Um, but it's unfortunate that that happens, especially when you have companies that mean well, they get in over their head, and then they don't know what to do, and then it's all done. I've been on the verge many times in my professional life of being way overextended and almost having to close up shop just because I just couldn't keep going. And fortunately, by God's grace, there's been things came up to prevent that. But it's easy to get in over your head. I think every one of us at some time in our lives have gotten in over our heads, and then looked back and said, God, I wish I hadn't made that choice or done that thing. And I think that's sort of what happened with Cattleman's. It's sad for everybody that bought their stuff. and I have no comment on how they handled things because I don't know how they handled it. But it's sad when anything goes that way, both for the company and for the consumers that bought their stuff. So, Timmy, I know you've got one of their guns that's not working, and you've tried and tried and tried, and it's still not working. There may be no fix to it, which is why I'm trying to figure out a way of something I've got in my inventory that I can just figure out a way to get to you, so you can just spend time shooting and you just throw all that stuff in a box and not have to look at it again. So give me a little time, and I'm trying to work something out for you. Jeff, yeah, Gamba's not going to do that. It would be they are not set up to do anything custom at all. Their custom options are what you're going to get off the Gamo exclusive side of GamoUSA.com. They're not going to offer any sort of customizations because they are about volume and ultra mass production. The sort of exclusive stuff, the niche stuff, the enthusiast stuff, you will see on the Gamo GamoUSA.com under their exclusive section. And I am encouraging them as often as I talk to them to continue doing such things because they can make some really good guns. I mean, all the BSA guns are examples of some exceptional guns that they have as part of their inventory that they could bring to market. So they can do it, but the U.S. market is so price conscious, and if you've ever had to deal with like getting a product into Walmart, this is how it works. You want to get shelf space for your product. Well, Gamo tells you the features you have to bring to the table and what they're going to pay you. You don't even get to set the price. Then you get to decide, can you do something where you're going to have enough volume for it to make sense for you to do it? And we're talking incredibly thin margins. But because of the volume, you can make something work. That, to me, I don't think that model's sustainable, not for air gunners in the long term. It's worked for many, many years, and it may work for the foreseeable future. But at the end of the day, having inroads and success and happy enthusiasts that like your air guns, I think has a lot of value, and I wish they would pay more attention to that. Let's see. Barra 1200 or 1200G brake barrel. I'm sure we can get something like that. Hey, Wade, if you don't like the babbling, well, you can always log off. I don't mean that meanly, but I'm trying to talk to people about questions they have and give them insight so they can live a less frustrated life in their air gunning. And sometimes knowing the bigger picture helps you see a different perspective that allows you to, well, have less frustration. I know it certainly helps me. Let's see, West Hunter review. I finally did get a replacement. It's sitting back in the shop. I don't know if I'm going to get to it or not at this point. It's been long enough where I've sort of lost interest. Paul's asking, why did SIG stop the ASP-20? Boy, you talk about an air gun that was let go way too soon. That was an awesome air gun. God, that thing was beautiful. I wish to God I had kept the last one I had. I sold it, unfortunately. Man, that was a beautiful gun. SIG got out of the air gun business, and that gun was expensive to make. And when they licensed everything, the manufacturing off to E-Viking, I don't even know what they're doing now. They weren't going to keep that going. It was too much of an investment and too much work to keep it going. But what a beautiful air gun. Let's see. I guess that's about it, guys. We're sitting at 7:30. I didn't expect to go this long tonight, but we seem to have lasted. Our power's still out here, but our generator's holding out. And I used, of all things, for internet today, I just tethered my cell phone and ran off the cell tower. So I'm sure my hotspot, I've probably used up a good bit of it for our hour tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did kind of get on my soapbox a little bit, but hey, that's the beautiful thing about having your own show. If you want a soapbox, you can do it. And I don't mean that meanly. It just happens to be the case. And sometimes I like to rant a little bit. So I hope you guys will come back in a couple weeks. Next week, I'm going to be in town, as I said in my little post that I put up. I've got blood work every other week now, so I'm going to go do that. In the weeks I don't have to go to town on Tuesdays, I'll be doing the show, and I'll be sure to post something if there's a change or something, something messes up that schedule. I'll try and let everybody know with plenty of lead time. But I thank you guys for coming up and hanging out. I hope you guys will keep watching the channel. We've got no video coming out this Thursday because, and I alluded to this in the beginning, my sister is working on the Daisy National footage. So we have a cool video for Monday. I'm going to be shooting for PyramydAir's video. I've got the Gauntlet 30, so we've got that back out again. And I absolutely love the Gauntlet 230 cal is a beast. I love that gun. It's awesome. So that video is coming out Monday. Hopefully Cheryl knows that. I have to remind her. But she's also working on a ton of footage from the Daisy National. So we're going to get that coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll start that. We've got 6 or 7 videos from that event. We're really excited to show that to you guys. It was just a great time. And yeah, hopefully you guys will like those videos that we put together for that. Because Gamo and Daisy really pull out all the stops at that event, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars invested every year into the youth shooting sports, so these kids can compete and have something to compete in. And it's I don't know of anybody else doing it at any sort of level like they are, which is impressive. So I tip my hat that I'm not wearing tonight to those guys for the work they put into that. So that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining me, and keep us in prayer for this weather. Hopefully it goes around us. We don't get hit too hard. And nobody out here gets flooded out, because there's definitely that chance of it. So we'll hopefully see you guys in 2 weeks. If something else comes up, I'll let you guys know. But thanks again for watching. This has been Let's Talk Airguns, and I like the name. Hope you guys like it too. We'll catch you next week. See ya.